Hi, Vedanta, ready to go again?
Yes, Bede, that was an awesome summary of all the psychodynamics which we've been discussing all the time with me. And I'm ready to move forward.
Okay. Now, what I need to do now is I want to start with a metaphor, and then I want to explain what we mean by knowledge versus experience. Now, imagine that you're looking out the window and it's all dark. So the experience is darkness. That's the experience.
Yes.
And as the sun starts to come, you suddenly start to see an outline. Just an outline. It's not much, but it's an outline. And as the sun becomes more and more evident, as the sun becomes more and more, what happens is there's more and more light. What you do is you see more and more. Now you're not seeing something new. You're seeing something that's always been there, but it's been obscured by the darkness.
Yeah.
Does this make sense?
Yes.
Now, so the presence of the light doesn't come from the darkness, does it? And it doesn't come from the hills and the trees that are revealed by the light. Okay? The light is what transforms the experience.
Indeed.
It is not suddenly that the trees are making themselves clearer. The light transforms the experience. So the experience is being definitely transformed. Now, when we're in a dark room and we're not seeing, do we get knocked around a bit by bumping into things?
Sure.
In fact, we get bumped around a lot. Because
indeed.
When you don't
You're totally bumped around.
That's right. You totally bumped around. And so the thing is that the light doesn't come. The light is something new. When the light comes, what happens is that what is there becomes clearer and clearer as there's more light, and when there's totally light, you see clearly, and the experience is totally transformed, isn't it?
It is. It is. It's a lovely way to say that. Now that you say it, I mean, it's like I never stood still at that process.
Right. So what happens is that the transformation of the experience comes from the presence of the light.
Yeah.
Now, Puja Swamiji, who's Swami Dayananda, who's one of my teachers, was talking about the other day that Vedanta is like a Polaroid camera. They don't have Polaroid cameras now; they've got digitals, right? But remember, what happens is that you're seeing a camera, you see a photograph, and it's all sort of brown, all sort of white, and then slowly the picture emerges, and it gets clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer.
Yes.
Now, what Vedanta does is that it introduces into our life a light in which things that have always been there start to be clearly seen. Now, this is knowledge. This is what we mean by knowledge. Knowledge is a light. It's not an academic subject where we get a concept. It is a light that sheds light on our experience as a human being in this world, so that we can see it in the right way. Are we tracking here?
Yeah, so, when you say that knowledge is a light which sheds light, it's so nice. It's nice, but it's quirky. So, we are so used to the orientation of knowledge being something like a differential equation or a long economic model which you have to study. So it's something new to me.
Yes. You see, an idea about the light is not the light. Do you know what I mean? Or an idea about ideas aren't light. They're just ideas. They're mental kind of things that happen.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is that imagine that you're in this room and it's dark and you know you've got problems, right?
Yeah.
So what you think is, and you read some book and it says that if you sit down quietly and quieten your mind or relax, that'll solve the problem. So what happens is you're in the room, you're getting bashed around, but what you do is you sit down and you meditate. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
In order to quieten
Yes.
your mind, right? So eventually what happens is there you are, even though you're in a room, even though it's still dark, here you are, you're feeling sort of better. Does that resolve the darkness?
No, actually, it's so funny because I did a course on meditation and it was really good, but I found myself either my mind was worrying or I was sleeping. It was one of the two.
Right. Right. So meditation in itself does not lead to the light.
True.
It leads to a state of mind, but it definitely is not knowledge in the sense that we mean. You see,
No.
in Vedanta, through listening to a traditional teacher who's been trained in the method, what happens is that a light, literally a revealing light, becomes active in our life. So we actually start to notice how we start to see clearer. It's a growing clarity. Swami Dayananda says that it's a growing clarity. Vedanta is a growing clarity. That's what it produces. A growing clarity which gets brighter and brighter, and all it does is reveal what's always been here.
Wonderful.
And that's what transforms the experience. Have you ever seen that some people think that the way that they're going to get happiness is that they're going to find a relationship and then they're going to be happy?
Yes.
Or
all the time.
Or they're going to have the experience of having lots of money.
Sure, I'm going to buy the lottery ticket too.
Yes. So, but all of those actions that we take are not going to resolve the darkness, the ignorance we're in. There's only one thing possible that can remove darkness, and what is that?
Light.
Right. In exactly the same way, when we talk about Vedanta, what it does is it introduces a light that a clarity of vision. It's actually a vision. So you know when you're sitting there in front of the window and you suddenly start to see an outline, you are seeing the outline.
Yeah.
It's a way of seeing. And as more and more as that light becomes brighter and brighter, as the clarity grows, which has to occur through time, what you're seeing has always been there, so that's not a product of time.
Right.
Does that make sense? It's not like it's already here. But what grows is the clarity.
Yes. Yes. I mean, this metaphor with this tree and the hills at the back is so true. I mean, they just didn't appear at sunrise, but they became clearer indeed with light.
So what I want to sum up on this point is this, is that when our whole thing with Vedanta is to abide in a vision, a way of seeing. That's all we're doing in Vedanta actually, is to abide in a way of seeing. Okay. And this way of seeing, because it sees the experiences in our life in an entirely different way, in a clear, crystal clear way, this way of seeing is what transforms our experience. This way of seeing is not an experience. It is a way of seeing in which experience happens.
And if I get back to that metaphor which you used, the way I look at the trees and the hill as the light was appearing is the experience you mean?
Yes, what's happened is you first of all experience darkness, and then you start to see the outline.
Yes.
Then how Swami Dayananda puts it, the details start to get filled in.
Yes, true.
And this is what is the transformative factor. an experience. We hope to transform ourselves by having good experiences.
Yeah.
We go, oh my goodness, I've had this magnificent spiritual experience. I just feel so peaceful. It's an experience. Not saying it's wrong or right, but it's an experience. It is not. It is not what we're talking about. We're talking about clarity of vision, and we have to understand that all Vedanta gives us, it doesn't give us a new experience.
Yes.
What it does is it transforms our experience, because what Vedanta is a vision in which we can see, first of all, the daily facts of our existence in a clear way, and lastly, it gives us a vision or a recognition of what it means to simply be myself, which we'll be going into. So is that clear?
Very nice. Thank you, Bede.
Okay, I think we'll end there. We'll just
Yeah.
start again next time. Okay, bye.